Very proud of President Obama for issuing the My Brother's Keepers Challenge to mayors at the time. But Mayor Coleman was just announced that he was not going to run for re-election. And so one of the things that he wanted was continuity in whatever we were doing as it pertained to young men of color. And so he asked me to come on as a co-chair. And so that winter, that December, we hosted a large forum at the King Arts Complex where we brought in all the community providers that work with young men of color. They outlined their issues. It was a real good coming together, alignment of community resources as it pertains to young men of color. The next step of becoming an MBK city, though, My Brother's Keeper City, was to create a task force. So the mayor and I initiated a task force in 2015. And so we brought in folks that represented all the different sectors. We went out and commissioned a report, but to get the report, we wanted to talk to the young men. So we met with 500 young men of color all around Columbus. We asked the young men, what are the barriers to your success? How can this city that loves you support you? And they gave us, they opened up, they talked to us. They told us about needing mentors. They told us about being bullied in school. They talked to us about needing and wanting a safe environment. And that meant having conversations with police and building police and community relations. And so they opened up, and we came up with the Youth Perspective Report of My Brother's Keeper in Columbus. We rolled that out in 2014. President Obama sent his director of My Brother's Keeper to Columbus to roll it out, and he did a rah, rah, rah on stage. He was so proud of us. Columbus is leading the way. And then we got off stage, and Director Johnson, Broderick Johnson, who was the president's MBK director, said, "Shannon, good work, but this does not have any metrics or goals in it." And he said, so if you're not going to give us data, and if you're not going to ask for the metrics, it won't go anywhere. And so that that really struck me. And so earlier this year, we commissioned the Kerwin Institute for the first time, to do some asset mapping. So first, find out where our resources are, who out in the community is really doing the work of moving our young men forward. Come up with some metrics that we can then hold ourselves accountable for to get to our overall goals. So for instance, by 2025, how many young men of color do we want to have passing the third grade reading test? By 2025, how many young men of color do we want to have mentors for? By 2025, how many young men of color do we want to reduce the number of incarcerations or deaths? I don't think it's a black issue. I don't think it's a brown issue. I think it's a community issue. I think it's a Columbus issue. So we're slowly but surely marching towards goals that will make our community really, as Americans say, the opportunity city for all. Columbus makes a difference to me because we are our brother's keeper. We are our sister's keeper. We take care of one another, we stack hands with one another, and we solve issues for each other. That's why Columbus matters to us.